This place you're seeing here, these are busy economic areas in the southeast, places that are being populated by human and economic activities. But as you can see, they are completely deserted due to the sit-at-home in the southeast. The sit-at-home in the southeast is being declared by non-state actors, and anyone who dare defy the sit-at-home directive order in the southeast will be met with huge consequences. Some of them have had their vehicles set ablaze, some human beings have been killed, all in the names of sit-at-home. As you can see in this video, these are precious life Nigerians, Igbo people, being wasted by criminals in the southeast, declaring sit-at-home in the southeast. Their life have been wasted because according to them, they defied a sit-at-home order. This thing is happening in a country where there is government. This thing is happening in a country where there are security agencies. But yet, these people have been allowed to go unstopped, unchecked, killing indiscriminately, by carrying out their nefarious activities called sit-at-home. I've seen a lot of persons try to blame the Southeast governors for not taking responsibility of the killing in the Southeast, for not providing security in the Southeast, and I begin to ask a major question: why blaming the governors? Is it not the responsibility of the state governors to provide security? When the Chibok girls were kidnapped, we all saw how Goodluck Jonathan was blamed for the kidnap of the Chibok girls, whereas they had a governor then in Borno State, Kashim Shettima, who is the current vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. No one blamed Kashim Shettima for the kidnap of the Chibok girls. Every blame was heaped on the table of Goodluck Jonathan. Even international communities, they blame Goodluck Jonathan, asking him to go and rescue the Chibok girls. Why is no one blaming President Bola Tinubu for the insecurity in the southeast? Why is no one blaming the APC government for the insecurity in the southeast? Why has the table suddenly turned because southeast is involved? The southeast region of Nigeria is home to the industrious and the resilient Igbo people, but recently, this region has become a theater of chaos, bloodshed and economic sabotage. This is as a result of the so-called sit-at-home that is being enforced under the guise of those championing Biafran state. These criminals that are taking advantage of the federal government inefficiency to provide security in Igbo land have enforced and unleashed terror on their own people. They've gone about caging and killing the same people they promised freedom from Nigeria. But what is more worrisome and troublesome is the federal government lackluster attitude towards the insecurity going on in the southeast. This has led to troubling questions whether the federal government's silence and inactions are deliberate strategies to destroy and destabilize the southeast region. Before APC came to power, the southeast region was regarded as the most peaceful and safest region in Nigeria. Under the APC-led government of President Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Tinubu, the southeast has become a beehive of criminals. Igbos have suffered untold hardship in Nigeria. They suffered war unleashed to them by the federal government, and to date, they've continued to suffer untold hardship because they are Igbo people. The killing of the Igbos by Igbos themselves have reached alarming levels, and everywhere many Nigerians, particularly the Igbo people, must rise to condemn this heinous act. While we all go condemning this act, we must also realize that the federal government has failed in its constitutional duty to protect all citizens regardless of region or ethnicity. The federal government has abdicated its responsibility of protecting the people of the southeast to the state governors. This has made the southeast to become vulnerable to criminal, lawlessness, and it has led to economic ruin of the economic activities of the people in the southeast. Before you blame the southeast governors for not providing security, you need to understand that the Nigerian constitution places the security of life and property as the foremost duty of the federal government. The sit-at-home order was initially conceived as a peaceful protest to demand the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and push for a referendum for the Biafran state, but it has been hijacked by criminals in the southeast. It has become a weapon of oppression and destruction. The people that are enforcing this sit-at-home have created a reign of terror. They are targeting their own people. They are destroying the livelihood of their own people. They are instilling fear in the communities of the same people they promised to give freedom from the Nigerian state. The questions on the lips of everywhere many Nigerians is, why has the federal government allowed this menace to continue? Is it a deliberate neglect of the southeast region? Is the federal government deliberately carrying out an ethnic cleansing in the southeast? Is the federal government sabotaging the economic activities in the Southeast? Why is the federal government neglecting the security of the people in the Southeast? Ever since the war was done and concluded, the Southeast region has faced marginalization in federal appointment, infrastructural development, and economic opportunities. For the federal government to fail to act decisively against the insecurity in the Southeast, the federal government is not only perpetuating this marginalization, but also enabling the forces that seek to destroy the region from within. The people enforcing these sit-at-home orders claim to be fighting for the protection and liberation of the Igbo people, yet their actions contradict their stated mission. Whatever is happening in the Southeast states right now is far short of anything called freedom. How does it make sense to harm the very people you claim to protect? How can the dream of a Biafran state built on the principles of freedom and prosperity be achieved by destroying life and livelihoods? These criminals masquerading as sit-at-home enforcers deny their Igbo people the right to work, to trade, and to live in peace. Markets are being shut down, businesses are collapsing, and families are plunged into poverty. All of these are happening while the federal government looks on in silence. With this deafening silence from the federal government, tell me why it will not be right for anyone to draw a conclusion that this is a deliberate strategy to weaken the Southeast states. Because allowing the insecurity in the Southeast states to persist, the economy is being crippled, the social fabric is being torn apart, and the political cohesion is being eroded. The Southeast state has long been a hub of innovation, commerce, and industry in Nigeria. You have the bustling market in Onitsha to the industrial centers in Aba. This region has been a shining example of resilience and enterprise. But guess what? This particular region I'm talking about, Onitsha and Aba, they are the worst hit when it comes to the insecurity and the sit-at-home menace in Southeast states. The federal government failure in addressing the economic sabotage and insecurity going on in the Southeast is making them a huge complicit in the insecurity in that region. The federal government cannot afford to remain nonchalant to the plight of the Southeast, to the insecurity going on in the Southeast. It is the responsibility of the federal government to protect the people of the Southeast. The federal government inaction is not only a betrayal of its constitutional duty, but also a threat to Nigeria's unity and stability. In as much as I'm not a fan of Nnamdi Kanu, because I strongly believe that he contributed to the insecurity that is going on in the Southeast because of the way he handled his Biafra agitation, I also feel that his continued detention by the federal government is unjust, unlawful, and criminal. Nnamdi Kanu has not committed any crime by demanding for the state of Biafra. If the federal government want to exonerate themselves from the insecurity going on in the Southeast, they should start by first releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally, and apology should be rendered to him for continued detention and depriving him of his fundamental human rights. Arresting and detaining Nnamdi Kanu while you have someone like Bello Turija that is terrorizing the Northeast state with his banditry is criminal from the Nigerian government. If they are serious about ending the insecurity in the Southeast, they should release Nnamdi Kanu, tax him with the responsibility of bringing an end to whatever insecurity that is going on in the Southeast. After all, the people that are enforcing the sit-at-home, they say they are doing it because of Nnamdi Kanu. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Let us see if this insecurity and the sit-at-home that is going on in the Southeast will come to an end. Of course, that should be the burden that should be placed on Nnamdi Kanu. He should do whatever he has within his power to put an end to the insecurity in the Southeast. Failure to do so, he should be held responsible because he contributed in creating the insecurity in the Southeast. If it was not for Nnamdi Kanu that have told the people there's going to be Biafra, if it was not for Nnamdi Kanu that have told the people we are going to give you Biafra, criminal element will not have taken an opportunity of his vacuum, of his incarceration to unleash terror in the Southeast. Therefore, the onus should be on him to stop the insecurity going on in the Southeast. The federal government should, as a matter of urgency, release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. I would have suggested that they should send security operatives to the Southeast, but we have all seen that the security operatives that are being sent to the Southeast to restore peace and order in the Southeast are using the Southeast as a cash cow. Rather than protecting government institutions and key infrastructures, rather than protecting the people, they've mounted roadblocks on every major road in the Southeast, extorting passengers, extorting motorists on a daily basis. We've seen videos of security operatives invading communities in the southeast, shooting and killing indiscriminately innocent people in the southeast. Therefore, sending security operatives to the southeast to restore peace and order will not solve the issue, but it will rather lead to escalation of the issue. Aside releasing Nnamdi Kanu, the federal government should stop the neglect of the southeast region. Enough of this so-called marginalization. Tell me why we shouldn't have a seaport in the southeast. We are talking of a region that is home to businessmen, importers and exporters in this country. Opening up the economic activities in the southeast by locating a seaport will help to boost the economic in this country. It will create more businesses, create more jobs, and this will lead to the de-radicalization of those that have been radicalized to carry out arms against their people. Economic emancipation is the most important thing that will stop insecurity, not just in the southeast, but in other parts of this country. Therefore, rather than blaming the southeast governors, all blame should be focused on the federal government. Tinubu should be held accountable for failing to protect Nigerians. Tinubu should be called out for his failure in providing security for Nigerians and the people in the southeast. The same way Tinubu blamed Goodluck Jonathan for the kidnap of the Chibok girls is the same way he should be blamed for the insecurity going on in the southeast. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.